This is episode 45 of the Arts Academy podcast with Victor Varnado and Roxxy Haze. How to schedule.
I am Dean Victor Varnado. Next to me is Deputy Headmistress Roxxy Haze. We teach you everything we can about entertainment and the arts. Anyway, I'm a person who is famous for getting things done. I thought it would be a good idea today to talk to you about how I get things done, or how me as a person who is ADHD, and also I would much rather play video games than do work. So how do I get stuff done? And I've got a lot of stuff done, and people actually look to me to be the guy who gets stuff done. So what do? I'm going to tell you what works for me, but then maybe you have something that works for you in particular. Now, I forget who said this, but I was watching a TED Talk where a guy was just talking about how he gets stuff done and he doesn't have an attention span. And what he does usually is he plans small things. So like, he, instead of saying he's going to sit down and write for like 6 hours and finish a chapter of a book, he says, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write a paragraph. If I write a paragraph today, that's fine. Like, that's what he can commit to mentally. And then often when you start like that, you'll end up doing a lot more. You'll end up doing a lot more writing than a paragraph. But at least if you make it okay with yourself just to do a paragraph, then you can at least start. And so what I've done is I've kind of molded my way of getting things done around like a lot of different ways that other people get things done. Some people talk about what's called boxing. Have you heard about boxing? BOXING for scheduling.
Is that like bullet journaling or no?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I've seen some bullet journaling stuff. And then boxing is really just like, I think they call it time boxing, where you just put time for stuff, which is really just making a calendar. But and then I've seen some stuff with bullet journaling. But here's what I do. I make it pretty simple. There are 3 components of what I do. Number 1, I use a task list. I use Trello like a task list, and I write down things that I need to do. And I make it really easy for myself. Here's an example. What I have on my phone is like I can just open up my phone, and then on the main page of my phone is this, which is a little button that I can push that brings up my task list. And when I push that button, it immediately goes to my task list, and I can just add something to my task. I make it really easy for myself to remember things and write things down. And when I write them down, there's no commitment to do them. I just write it down. And so when I'm thinking of something that needs to be done, I write it down and I add it to a task list. The reason I like Trello is because it is both available on my phone and available on my computer. So like anytime I can find anything on the list from either source. Okay, that's the first component. Just writing things down. Make sure you write things down. It really helps me. Number 2, what I do is I go to my task list knowing fully well I'm not planning on doing everything on my task list. So every day I sit down with my task list for around 30 to 45 minutes. And this is what I do. I go through my task list. Anything on my task list that takes less than 5 minutes to do, 5 minutes or less, I do that. Okay, so if it's like, remember, send an email to this person, then I do that during that 30 to 45 minutes, or actually 45 minutes to an hour sometimes. And so I do all the tasks that take 5 minutes. Then anything that takes more than 5 minutes, I don't do it. But what I do is I put it in my calendar. I look for time that I can get that thing done, and then I put it in my calendar. Maybe it's tomorrow. It's usually like tomorrow or the next day. But I basically look down my calendar, look where I have time, and then put a couple of hours in there. And I'll tell you what that does. Not only does it make it easier for me to plan to do something, because I don't have to do it immediately, but then I see it coming. So I know when it's coming and I know when that time is coming. So I actually kind of think about it and keep it in the back of my mind so that when it finally is time to do that, I'm mentally prepared to do it. I think the problem with the old version of the task list is you'd put something in the task list like I have to edit my essay, and you know that's going to take 2 hours. When you just put it on the task list, it's daunting because then when you're sitting down doing the task list, sometimes you don't want to commit 2 hours right then and there. But instead, my task list is a window where I can plan that for the future. So then I'll just put it on the calendar for later, knowing when I'm going to do it. So I'll say Saturday, I'm going to take 2 hours. I'll put it on the calendar for Saturday, afternoon, 2 hours, and I'll be thinking about it. And I'll be mentally prepared to do it by the time it actually comes up. That helps me so much. I can't even tell you how much that helps me. It's like a lot. And so those are my 3 components. Number 1, I give myself a way to write things down very easily so that I can keep track of things that I need to do. Number 2, I sit with my task list. I try to get things done 45 minutes to an hour every day. So, but that means that it doesn't mean that I'm going to do everything on the task list, but either I do it because it's easy to do, or I plan for it to be done later by scheduling it for some other time. So that leads me, of course, directly to step 3, which is scheduling things. So if you schedule time for things, then you try to stick to that. And I also forgive myself. I think that's the number one thing that helps me do this and actually get things done is sometimes I don't do things right, or I don't finish things exactly as I was going to finish them, but I forgive myself. I'm not going to, I think a lot of times what people will do is they'll start a system, like say you'll start a workout system and you'll miss it one day and then you'll be like, forget it. that happens a lot. Don't do that. Just forgive yourself and then try again the next time. And remember, it's always okay not to do something, but just try. Just try to do it. And that's how I work, being a person who has no attention span for anything.
Yes.
Anyway, that would be what I would do. Do you have a particular way that you get things done?
I was gonna say my all of my systems are so weird, but they work for me. So what I've done, I just started doing this now because I'm working with you. And I'm working with a couple of other different people, and you can attest to this. My scheduling was pretty trash. It was pretty trash, but I had to figure out a way to schedule all the stuff I was doing. So first, I
can attest to that.
But it's gotten better though, right? Right?
Yes.
And that's because I perfected my schedule now. So I bought this planner. I bought another planner, right? It's an Alice in Wonderland planner. So I also have ADHD, as you could probably tell. So shut up, Victor.
What? I'm just agreeing with you.
So I like this planner. This one's a weekly planner, and it has a blank page for me to write. So I'll write down stuff that I know I have to do. So like this podcast, I write it down for every Thursday. And then I have a secondary notebook. I know it sounds weird, but it works. So this is where I write all the important stuff. And then I have a running to-do list where I write down the tasks that I have to do every day. So I have 6 or 7 things that I do every single day, like workout, blah, blah, blah. But I'll also write the other tasks that I need to do. And then I highlight them. So I use pink is I have to do this. So working, or when we schedule the podcast, I'll put that down and it's pink. So I know I have to do that, and I'll write the time. And the other stuff I don't schedule. It's just something I need to do, and I can do it when I get to it. And then that way I could go back and look when I have time, okay, that's something that I could finish, something that doesn't necessarily have a deadline. And then why is my system so complicated? Then I have another daily schedule where I kind of schedule, I guess this would be the blocks thing you said, but where I schedule specific blocks of time to do certain tasks. And that's probably helped me the most. So I know okay, it's 8:00. This is the time that I blocked off to do this specific kind of work. This is the time I blocked off to do this specific kind of work. And so, that's helped me way much. I know that was a lot and it sounds extremely complicated, but it works for me because I have to write everything down.
That's great. I mean, whatever it takes to get things done. I mean, whoever you are, whatever it takes to get things done, I think just do that. Do for yourself. I mean, the biggest positive advice about getting things done that I've ever heard is the the smartest thing you can do is never make a day a 0% day. Like if you've got something that you need to get done, try to, even if you only get 1% more finished in a day, like a small thing, eventually it's going to be 100%, as long as you just do something rather than nothing, even if it's small. Just do more than 0% every day if you can, and then eventually things are going to get done. And not only that, you're going to get in the habit of doing things, and once you get into the habit of doing things, you're going to get more done. And it's actually, once you start getting things done, it feels good.
It really does.
It feels so good, and people respond to it. When I finally started, for a long time, I wanted to draw a cartoon every morning, and I wasn't doing it forever. But when I finally figured out a way to trick myself, is basically what I did, to trick myself into getting it started, it feels good. And now, like, when you look back at my Instagram and you see cartoons that are going on for like months in the past, like, it feels good and people like it, and it's incredibly rewarding, and it is addicting to just get things done. I love it. And so so trick yourself, do whatever you need to do to trick yourself into starting to do things, because once you start getting things done, it's really going to feel good, and you're going to want to dive back in and do even more of it.
Agreed.
All right. Anyway, so if there are any questions that anybody needs answered right now that I can answer, I would love to answer your questions. However, if you don't have any questions, that's great advice. I don't know which advice you're talking about, mine or hers. Who knows?
It was yours. It was yours.
But I am really happy that people are tuning in more. Please utilize this, because when I was starting out in the entertainment industry, I wish that there were resources, like at least the kind that I'm trying to make available. Like I as a person, like if you work in entertainment or the arts, and I'm a person who also has been working in entertainment and the arts for over 20 years, and I haven't had a non-arts job for over 20 years. So basically, this is what I do. If you want something answered, sign up for one of those one-on-ones, or just put something in the comments or send us a message, because we'll try and answer your questions. I mean, I don't care what it is. I'll try to answer it. All right. If you would please follow us at Alt Arts Academy on all social media. You can find us at artsacademypodcast.com. You can also find our school at altartsacademy.com. We're fixing up that website. It's going to be ready very soon. We love you all. Roxxy Haze, thank you so much for filling in for most of the day today.
No problem.
I know you're kicking butt watching you in the car on the way back here. Way to go. Thanks.
Hey, I like accolades.
Is that a dance or something?
Yes, it was almost a
vertical flies.
It was almost a Millie Rock, but then I didn't rock with it.
Yeah, that's a booty swat. All right, well, great job. Anyway, thanks everybody. We'll see you again. Check us out everywhere. Hopefully you'll make it on Saturday for the How to Write a Comic Book class.
Please visit altartsacademy.com.